Oh, here we go. Voila, there we go. All right. Oh dear, this game has royally, royally upset me. Um, Not for reasons that you might think, because I think that overall us playing the way that we played was pretty good. I do think that we got some things tactically wrong, which I will talk about once we get into the meat of the episode. But just it feels like every single time that we're up against a Manchester club, we always get these types of things happening to us. Whenever we get this particular referee, this always happens to us, and it's kind of just. It's almost like we should not even bother turning up to watch, genuinely, because we always see the way that it goes. Let's just get my stream up on my chat up rather. Okay, there we go. Welcome in, welcome in. Oh, I don't really know. I don't really know what to say for this intro part because it's the same stuff that we've been seeing over and over again, and I do have a few more things to kind of say, um, in terms of, again, as I said, in terms of the tactics. I also have a little bit of things to kind of talk about in terms of the comments on my preview because I think I got a lot of backlash that I definitely did not deserve, and this game was a pretty much good proof of that. I'll get into the meat of the episode here. Let me hit my intro if I can remember how to do it. Here we go. Lads, lasses, and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC, and welcome to Season 2 of Feeling Blue. Let's go. Okay, welcome back to Feeling Blue, and quickly, before I even start, I've just seen them pop into chat, so I did want to do this. If you look, Jules has been the first person on this channel to join the masses, to join the memberships, which are now live on the channel. So thank you for that. I did. Yeah, I did. I noticed that you joined. I didn't notice that you chose the top option, which was crazy to me because I didn't think that anyone would really do that. But I thank you for that. And obviously because of that, you're getting the shout out. Other people, of course, if you want to join the channel and become like Jules, you can click the join button that's down below this video. I'm assuming it's below streams as well, I'm not sure. And obviously you get badges, emotes, etc. You can find all the information on that. Did just want to quickly shout you out before we started here. Let's get into this. This is Feeling Blue. We'll go from the left to the right. We'll say our good feelings, then our bad feelings. And trust me, there's a lot of bad feelings. Oh, there was a lot of bad feelings. Let's start with the positive, because I don't want to be too negative. I will say I'm being very, very harsh in my assessment of a lot of these players. So a lot of these players probably didn't deserve the rating that I'm giving them, but personally I'm just being a bit naggy in a way. The first player I'm going to be putting in the good box is Mark Cucurella. Now, I don't think he had as good of a second half as he did first half. In that first half, he completely locked up Jeremy Doku to the point where he had to switch over to the left wing because he was just not getting anything out of him. He had to take on 3 different opponents today because he not only had to do with Doku, but then obviously Savinho when he came over, and Savinho did a little bit better against him, but I still think that he held his own well enough. Obviously when Foden came on, he dealt with Foden well enough too. I think that he was one of our only defenders that was kind of actually not allowing the ball to go straight past him in many ways. I'm going to leave I'm saying this now. You can probably tell because of the size of the icon that I've put for Cucurella, but there's only going to be 2 players in this box, so I'm leaving the last good for the last point because I want to leave this on a high. Let's go into the medium box. And I think this is a good way to start us off is by putting Enzo Maresca in here. I think that he got some things right today. I think that he got some things horrifically wrong today. I'll kind of address those a little bit more once we get into those specific players, but it was clear that we can play in a way that will get us success. It was clear to me that playing against arguably the best team in the entire league. We looked for large chunks of this game like the better team. We did. For the most part, apart from their first goal, and obviously we conceded late on too, for the most part, apart from their first goal, we looked like we were in the ascendancy. We looked like we were more likely to score, and for the most part, it seemed like we were actually doing well. There were a few things which made the team a little bit, what's the word? A bit not disorganized. That's not the way I want to say. A bit unfamiliar with each other. They all looked, at times our team kind of looked like they didn't really know where each other were going to be. The main one I want to highlight is Enzo and Jackson. I think those two had no connection whatsoever today. We were, yeah, I will say, yes, City were without Rodri, which is obviously a big loss for them, I will say that. But to be honest, every time apart from him scoring late winners against us, Rodri never really plays that well against us, which is a bit weird. Let's move into the first bad, because I did mention him briefly there. It's gonna be a connective one, because I want to talk about both of these players. So I'm gonna put a connection between the main player that I'm going to be talking about here, Enzo Fernandez, who I think was utterly abysmal in this game, and Moises Caicedo, who was next to him in the midfield and didn't really do himself justice either. Let's talk mainly about Enzo, because I think that he's the one that's dragging Caicedo down a little bit here into the bad box. I spoke about this in my preview. Well, not so much in my preview. I spoke about this in the comment section of my preview, that Enzo Fernandez playing higher is not a good thing. He needs to be playing as that left 8. He cannot play anywhere else. And when he did eventually drop, when Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall came on, he looked so much better. He was being able to spray the ball out wide to Gusto, and we actually started creating more opportunities from that right side. Him playing in this 10 role is the exact mistake that Pochettino kept doing, pushing him up against centre-backs, making him press, and it just frustrates me to no end, because we saw that we were so close to unlocking it. You know, we were so close to getting the formula right and getting Enzo into the right position, and then it's still in pre-season, and then it's all just gone out the fucking window. And that really annoys me, because we didn't need to do that. We could have played either Nkunku in the central role, we could have played Palmer in the central role and brought Pedro Neto onto the right wing. Nkunku playing on the left wing is something which I touched on, which I think is really silly. I don't think he played there very well either. And it's just this thing, and I want to talk about a specific comment that I got on my preview, because I think it highlights this. It's this weird thing that our manager is trying to do, where he's trying to shoehorn every single player that's good into the same team, and it doesn't work. And I'll actually read this out. This is a reply that I said to someone that basically put out this exact lineup that we played in my comments, and they basically said that I was being stupid for not putting certain players in certain positions. And I said, "You're just throwing names in without thinking about the system, though. The team you suggested would have had either Enzo or Caicedo playing as a 10, which doesn't suit either of them." I spoke about Cucurella. I think Cucurella had a very good game, so I'm going to skip past that. Nkunku isn't suited to playing off the left wing, in my opinion, and if Neto isn't starting, it should be Mudryk or Sterling there, not Christo. And I feel justified in the fact that I've said both of those things, because they both came true in this. I think that Nkunku wasn't good on the left wing. He's so much better if he's going to be playing centrally, to play centrally. It's really frustrating him trying to hold the width when we have players that can hold the width better than him. And obviously, maybe this is because Neto is not, maybe because Neto's not 100% fit. Let's say that. Maybe that's the excuse. But even then, if we're going to be playing Nkunku out wide and we're going to be making that sacrifice, we cannot be as narrow as we are, with Palmer playing in the inside role as well, and Enzo playing in this weird 10 position that doesn't suit him. It just frustrates me to no end, because it's like we had solutions. We could have played Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall in that 10 position. He can play that 10 position much better than Enzo can. He's much better at pressing. In fact, what I personally said that we should have done at half time is we should have played Palmer, who can play that as that pressing 10, because he's done that. He's very good at pressing from the front. He's very good at playing as in central positions. We should have played Palmer in that role that Enzo was playing in, and then brought either Mudryk, Neto, or Sterling. Obviously, there's a big controversy over Sterling because of the statement that he put out, or his representatives put out before the game, but you could put either one of those on the wing and not play Palmer on the wing. And I think that Palmer, in fact, I have actually got him as one of my points, so I'll put him in here. I'm going to put him in the medium box. I don't think he particularly had a good game, but I think maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him because my standards for him are so high. I think that he just didn't really get on the ball enough, really, and when he did get on the ball, he was good, and which is why I kind of bumped him up. But it just seemed like the way that we played and the system that we played, it just didn't suit Palmer as well as it could have done. And obviously we know that he wants to come inside, we want to get Gusto high up the pitch, and I spoke about when we do that not having Kiernan Dewsbury Hall in the side just makes the defensive stability of that right hand side go completely out the window, and we really saw that with Caicedo. And I've put Caicedo in the bad box mainly because this is more so just this whole point, this bad point, sorry for hitting my mic, was just the midfield, right? That's why he's in there. But I do think that at times, maybe this is a tactical thing, maybe this is a him thing, every single time that Manchester City got a good counter-attack, it was because Caicedo decided to just run up the pitch like a headless chicken and try and press for no reason. He really didn't need to do that. And again, if I was rating him individually, I would put him more over towards this side, which is why he's on the left of this box and not on the right. But I'm just saying, in general, our midfield got completely ran through today, and it felt like they weren't even there. So that's why this is here. As I said, I want to leave on a good note, so I'm leaving the last point here. Let's talk about Malo Gusto. A lot of people have kind of pointed this out in the comments I've already seen. Malo Gusto was not good today. He was arguably our worst player, which is weird because he was so good before. I just felt like he got absolutely rinsed by Doku so many times, which is so unlike him. And again, maybe this is me being harsh on him because my standards for him are so high, but I really don't feel like he did much going forward either. There was a lot of kind of, in terms of, there was a lot of players that were like this. Palmer, Gusto, I think Enzo had this as well, Jackson had this as well. There was just a lot of lethargy in the side, and it felt like a lot of them just felt like they were just like half a second too slow to do everything, and Gusto was one of those. He was like, just, it was disappointing because we've seen how good he is, and maybe it's because he wasn't played as much in this right back midfield role and he's not 100% used to it yet. Maybe it's because he's possibly there was a change before. We don't know the ins and outs of how lineups are selected nowadays. They can change on a dime, so maybe he wasn't predicted to be playing in that role before the game and then he suddenly got thrown into it and you didn't know. But he was just so off the pace today, and it just felt like every single attack was going down his side. In comparison, Cucurella's side, I don't think we really got much danger down that side except for when Savinho was playing for like about 10 or 20 minutes there. I think I'm not going to talk about them because I don't think it's imperative to talk about them all, but I don't think that our central defenders did particularly bad. I think the one instance of bad defending was obviously for Haaland's goal, but that's very, very marginal, and in all honesty, it's just Haaland being Haaland, and he's just really, really good at what he does, so I'm not going to put him down too much for that. Let's talk about the final bad, because this is what the title is about. This is something that I don't want to talk about, and remember in pre-season, in one of these lives, I said, I don't want to talk about referees, and I'm going to try my best to not talk about referees this season, because I want to focus on the football. There's something to the effect, that's what I said. First game of the season, here he is. He's in here. You know what? And so much so, I'm going to put him here, because no matter... Jaws is spamming the no board. No matter how good we play today, we were never, absolutely never winning this game with this guy refereeing our games. Four clear penalties not given. Absolute daylight robbery. And it's not even just that. I don't care. Maybe major decisions are contentious. I don't care about that. It's the bias. It's the clear and obvious situation where when one of our players does a foul, it's immediately given, like instant blow up. We don't get to play on. Whenever Man City does this exact same thing, he doesn't care, and he just lets them play on, and it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because it's happening every single time he referees one of our matches. I complain about it every single time he referees one of our matches, and he is a Mancunian. Let's say it together, everybody. He is a Mancunian. Why is he refereeing a match when one of the teams are from Manchester? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. In every single other competition in world football, if you have two conflicting teams that are going against each other, you put the referee as a neutral. You always put the referee as a neutral. Say England are playing Brazil in the World Cup. You don't put a Brazilian referee or an English referee in that game. You take someone from, I don't know, Romania or somewhere else that has no effect to either of those two countries. And why don't they do it for these games? And obviously we had all of this kind of talk pre-Premier League that they were going to come out and they were going to say they were going to say, they were going to let everyone know what the allegiances of each referee is before the game. And you know what's funny? Is that they suddenly did a U-turn on this and didn't do it right before this game. I wonder why. Let's talk about the individual like incidents. I would say that 4 is, I would say getting all 4 penalties is not to be expected. I would not expect to get 4, but we should be at least getting 2. The ones which I think are absolutely criminal, the second one on Enzo, the push in the back is kind of contentious because pushes always happen, whatever. The only reason why I don't like that one is because I think it was in the Villa game. Was it in the Villa game? Someone got punished for doing the exact same thing. That really annoyed me because the consistency isn't there. The second one on Enzo is 100% a penalty. Diaz has fallen to the floor and has grabbed his leg whilst he's on the floor and tripped him over. That is 100% a penalty. No one that watches that should be saying that that's not a penalty. The other one I don't really care about that much, but the one I am going to be really annoyed with is the handball. And I think it is absolutely criminal that they can sit there and on the commentary team and they bring in a referee to kind of justify all the decisions when they pretty much just try and make up as much bullshit as they can to excuse the referees for making bad decisions. They said that the arm was in a natural position. If you take a look at that, Kovacic's hand is here. His knuckles are literally in line with his eyes. How is this natural when you're running? I have not seen anyone run with a hand up here, ever. In the box, and he has stopped the ball from going into the box. That's 100% a penalty. And I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. It's just, oh my God, I don't want to talk about referees. I want to talk about football. I want to talk about tactics. I want to talk about analytics. I want to talk about all the things about football that I love. I don't want to talk about these stupid, bald nonsense completely ruining every game. And the worst part of it is that we have to watch it on the same channel where we have, as many of you have pointed out in the comment in the chat, I've been looking at it, as many of you have pointed out, we have this fucking prat Gary Neville on the fucking commentary team, just saying as much biased shit towards Chelsea as possible, and just every single decision he's just defending, and he keeps randomly putting out remarks against our players for no reason. It's just, it annoys me to no end. I'm going to leave that there because I think I've said enough and I don't want to get too angry. Let's move on to the final positives. And obviously a lot of the people in chat right now have seen and have said who this is. Everyone knows who's going in here. He was by far the best player on the pitch for any side, and that's Romeo Lavia. I had a bit of a debate with someone in my comments on my preview about Romeo Lavia, and they said that Caicedo is a better 6 than Lavia and should be playing in Lavia's position. I think Lavia must have seen that comment and said, you know what, I'll prove to you that you're wrong, because he was absolutely wonderful. Everything he did in that game, superb. I think he literally misplaced one pass all game. In the first half, not a single misplaced pass. He was not only doing that, but he was defending well. He was getting back to help his defenders. He was the only midfielder that really was getting back to help his defenders, let's be real. Not only that, but he was taking the ball under pressure, turning, getting us out from the press, which obviously we have struggled to do, and this is a big part of our team, is being able to play out from that press, and we didn't do it very well in this game, but Lavia was the one player that was actually trying to do it. He not only did that, but then the passes out from the back when he did break that press, superb, and it just felt like he was a level above every single other player. It's like no other player in the team got the memo today. And I think Lavia did came off. I'm assuming it's because of fitness, right? We saw a few swaps today which I think were fitness related, and I think that if this was based on if everyone was fit and we started like from zero, and obviously there wasn't worries about reoccurring injuries and stuff, and I'm sure they must have talked about it in the dressing room at half time, like, hey, you're going to play such and such amount of minutes and then you're going to come off, that type of thing. Yeah, and Kunku as well. Yeah, I think Kunku was probably for fitness too, and I think that him not staying on the pitch just made us basically flop like completely. And obviously, as I said, once we got into that second half, we did make those changes. I do think that we had the tools to get back into the game, and we showed that we could get back into the game, and we created a lot of chances. Unfortunately, this guy decided to say no, we're not allowed to have those chances. And also just a few little bits of of just mix up, and it felt like, again, like once you make all those changes, once all the changes have gone through, and like you've thrown on so many new players together, and it just seems like there's no cohesion at all. And I feel like that's kind of what we felt. The first set of substitutions felt good, and it felt like, okay, we can actually press on. When Pedro Neto came on, for example, I think Pedro Neto had a decent cameo for what he was allowed to do. I think that him and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall on that left-hand side need to kind of make a partnership. I think that Guiu got... I do want to talk about Guiu, actually, a little bit, because I feel like... I don't know if this was instruction, but he just wasn't really as aggressive as he usually is in this game. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. We've been seeing him in preseason just absolutely running at people and like being an absolute terror. I think he was instructed to not do that. I think he was probably told to lay off and kind of not get bypassed as much, because I think that was kind of the fear, was that if we press too quickly, that City are just going to play it around us. And I wonder if that was kind of an instruction from Enzo to like say, hey, don't press too much, because he did seem a bit off in terms of that. What I will say overall here is that I think that if we were playing any other team, or not say any other team, if we were playing any team outside of the Big Six, I think we would have won this game. I think it's literally just because it's City that we won this game. I think that the way we play today would be enough to beat a majority of teams in this league, and I don't think that we should be... Again, don't think we should be as reactionary, because let's be honest, this is a team that finished 6th last year, and without the last surge of the last 5 weeks, we would have finished 10th, and we went bar for bar with the champions of England. That's all I'm going to say. And I felt like we were kind of hard done by a lot of decisions today. And we could have won this game. On a different day, we could have won this game. That's the way it goes. And to be honest, I'm glad that if we're going to lose a game, and we're going to lose a game to City, it's on the first day of the season, so we can just put it behind us and just move on. And I think that's what we've got to kind of do. Speaking of moving on, let's go to our poll. Let's vote for the True Blue. I think that's pretty obvious. You know what? I didn't put Sanchez in here. I've just seen that from Crimson. I have not put Sanchez in here. You know what? I usually only do 7 points. I'm actually going to make an exception, because Sanchez was absolutely bloody awful as well. You can go in there. Let's quickly talk on Sanchez here. Jurgensen next game, please, is all I'm going to say there. Because he just stunk up the gaff. Again, it's one of those things where Robert Sanchez is the Raheem Sterling of goalkeepers. Sometimes he is absolutely wonderful and he can play it out from the back, and he seems so calm, and his distribution is good. He can make great saves. We saw a few good saves in this game. And other times his brain just switches off and he just goes, here, have the ball, and just gives it straight to them. And the second goal from Kovacic, even though it's a pretty decent finish, Sanchez should be saving it. He should be saving it, shouldn't he? Let's be real. He was moving in slow motion. That's so true. He was moving in slow motion. Maybe it's the lanky frame, but yeah, I did want to add that on the end there, because I saw someone point that out. Let's move on to the poll. And there's only 2 players that can go in here from my selection, but I'm going to put in these 2, obviously. I'm trying to think, is there anyone else? Is there anyone else that could actually make it in here? I really don't think there is. I'm just going to start with those 2, honestly. I don't think anyone else deserves this, and I think it's pretty obvious who we're all going to vote for here. And whilst you guys are voting, I will take a sip of my drink. Oh. But yeah, I think our next game is against Servette in the Europa Conference League qualifiers, which should be a better game for us, admittedly, because the level of the competition is not as bad. If we lose that game, then I might genuinely just not bother watching the rest of the season. Let's be real. Yeah, I think that I do think that some people have said it in chat. I think that Fofana had a decent game. He still did have that, again, he has that same thing where sometimes he just switches off and he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to run 50 yards up the pitch for no reason and follow the striker, which I don't think it was too much of an issue in this game, and I think the defence, for the most part, the centre-backs were decent, which is why I haven't really mentioned them, because I don't think they were particularly good, I don't think they were particularly bad, I don't think they were particularly notable, I think they just kind of did their jobs. Yeah, a lot of people are voting for Lavia. I think that's a pretty general consensus that it's going to be him. I'll let you guys keep voting. Whilst I talk about, of course, I mentioned this at the top of the episode, I'll mention it again now, because the majority of the people that come to my streams, I would suggest, are the more loyal of my viewer base. I love you guys equally, obviously, but the guys that come up to my stream, I see a lot. They are always here. I see a lot of familiar names. And what I will say is that, of course, now I've mentioned it at the top of the episode, I'll mention it again, memberships are now available. If you want to join the members-only Discord, where we can kind of talk to each other outside of just my videos and stuff, you can do that. The join button is below the stream, I think. I don't actually know if it's below the stream. You can see it on the actual channel page. And again, I've made my memberships try to be as as accessible as possible, because I'm a person that has come from not a lot of money. I know how annoying it can be when you have to spend a lot of money on things that don't seem like they're worth it. So I've made my membership the literal lowest amount that I could possibly make it. I think it's 99 pence a month. Obviously you can pay more, like Jules has. Obviously Jules in chat has paid more. That's just to support me, and obviously you've got a special shout out for that. There'll be other things as well. But yeah, if you want to get badges and emotes and access to the members only Discord, and of course the FPL League, which I've launched, obviously the first week has already gone, unfortunately, then yeah, join the member, become a member today. I have to do my shameless plugs at some point. Let's end the poll. It looks like Lavia is going to win this very comfortably. We'll put Lavia in the True Blue. See, I'm not gonna, someone just asked me what my best 11 is. Ryan, thank you for becoming a member. I hope that, did that come up here? Oh, it has come up here. I put my alerts in the corner, and that's really funny. I directed my attention to the True Blue, and then that has just come up in the corner. That's really funny. But yeah, thank you for becoming a member too. I'm not gonna say my my best 11, because I kind of did that in the last preview. I'm probably going to predict the I'm probably going to make a when I talk about the Servette game, obviously the next preview is going to be for the Servette game. I think that's in 4 days time. I'll have to check, one sec. I'll make my preview. I'll kind of go over it then. When is our next match against Servette? Our playoff league, our first playoff leg is on Thursday, but it's Thursday at 8 o'clock at night. So I assume that I'm probably going to put that out on Thursday morning, is when I would imagine. Thursday morning, 10 AM is usually when I do late kickoffs. How long is James's ban? I don't actually know. I think it's the first 3 games, and I'm not sure if it carries over into Europe either. I'll have to do more research on that. But yeah, next video will be out on Thursday morning or Wednesday evening, most likely Thursday morning. 3 games? Oh, okay. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out again. Thank you for joining the membership to Ryan and Jules. And yeah, I'll leave you guys to have a better evening than I'm going to have, because I'm going to be sitting here mulling over this result. But yeah, we go again. Hopefully we can get a victory against Servette, and I imagine we will. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. I'll hit the outro, and have a good evening. Peace. And that was just my Feeling Blue match review for this game. I hope to see you here for the next one. But if you can't wait until then, YouTube reckons you'll enjoy one of these 2 videos on screen in the meantime. Thank you guys so much for watching as ever, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on, you Blues.